This is my Goblin Charbelcher deck. I actually decided to build it primarily just because I had a bunch of the cards, but not the whole deck. Just randomly, 2 of this, 3 of that, 4 of that. I just said, why not? I'm going to build it. So this is a non-Burning Wish Charbelcher deck. If you want to add the Burning Wishes, you're going to be looking at about $100 for those 4, and another Lion's Eye Diamond, so close to $200. If you were to build it this way, this version of the deck, when I built it and priced it, it was, I believe, about $500, $550, but I had some of the cards, so it didn't come out to be that much. So let's take a rundown real quick. 4 Street Wraiths, simple cantrip, just pay 2 life, draw a card. Win condition number 1, empty the Warrens, storm count high enough, you put 20 1/1 tokens into play, and you can win within the next turn, or create a position where your opponent can't win ever. Charbelcher, my favorite win condition. Reveal cards from the reveal the top card of your library until you run into a land. Since you have 1 land in the deck, the odds of you not revealing more than 10 cards are pretty slim, and because it's a mountain, it'll double the damage. So you can do at most 104 damage on turn 1. The most tokens I've ever got with Empty the Warrens was 30, because I played 2 copies of Empty the Warrens in 1 turn, 1 for a storm count of 7 and 1 for a storm count of 8. That was fun. Then our mana sources, 4 Simian Spirit Guides, 4 Elvish Spirit Guides, free mana, remove them from the game. Add 1 red or 1 green, depending on what you have. Very needed. Our rituals, we have Poetic Ritual, Desperate Ritual. Add 3 red, add 3 red. Desperate Ritual, Splice. Now, I've actually done this where I've had 4 mana in the pool and 2 Desperate Rituals, played it, spliced it, got 6, dropped the Charbelcher, 2 red left in the pool, played the other Desperate Writ that went back to my hand, 3 mana, activate Charbelcher, and that's game. I'm pronouncing this Manamorphose. I have no idea how to pronounce it. I really don't care. This is a mana filter. It's 2 mana. Add, 2 mana of any 2 mana of any combination, to your mana pool, and you get the ability to draw a card. Very good if you, have 2 Tinder Walls in your hand and no green mana source, but you're able to cast this. Very good. Land grant, obviously. Search your 1 land. It needs to be a forest, obviously, but revealing our hand is not really a problem, since we normally are going to win the turn we reveal our hand. And Rite of Flame. Okay, you get a 2 for 1 on the first one, and then every other copy after that. You add an extra mana for the one in your graveyard, so you can go get a 2 for 1, and then if you have another one in your hand, you can pull a Dark Rid off of it, basically, and then just keep going from there. Very, very easy. 1 mana. Ritual, not that bad. We got our Tinder Walls. 1 green mana. Sacrifice it. Deal 2 damage to target creature blocking it, or blocked by it. I haven't really used that ability ever since this card came out in Ice Age. Never ever used that ability. I used the first ability to just sacrifice it and get 2 red mana. That's why I've always used it. Gitaxian Probe. Pay 2 life, look at target player's hand, draw a card. Very good if you're going up against a control deck, because you might want to know if they have a counterspell, which is good. And drawing a card gets you deeper and ups the storm count if you draw into multiple copies of it. And now our artifacts, of course, Chrome Mox, Imprint. One thing you need to know, if you're going to empty the Warrens and you already have 4 mana to cast it, and you have 3 Chrome Moxes in your hand and nothing to imprint them on, or nothing to imprint on them, you don't need to imprint. You can just drop it and, I'm not going to imprint. It won't tap for any mana, but it'll add 1 or 2 to your storm count, which is 2 to 4 more tokens, which could mean winning or losing. So just FYI if you didn't know that. Lotus Petals, free, 1 free mana out of an artifact. Common from Tempest, which, it's amazing that it was a common. I like that. And here we go, our Lion's Eye Diamonds, the poor man's Black Lotus. Right around now, I'm seeing people buying these for $60, $70 a piece. I remember the first one I got, it was $5 because nobody played it because everybody thought it sucked. So that's why I kind of keep a lot of cards, even though people wonder why I keep these cards when they're not worth anything, because you never know when something really crappy is going to be $70 in the future. And then the newest edition, this is my birthday present, my Taiga, my duel, bringing the total count of all my dual lands up to 4.
You're welcome.
That's my wife. Please forgive her, she has Tourette's. And this is your forest and mountain. And if you have a chance, obviously, you will land grant for it. If you hit it with Charbelcher, it doubles the damage very easily. And of course, here's my 1 goblin token that I just would put a dice counter on to show how many goblins I have. Since it's a wishless Charbelcher build, the build needs to have a sideboard that will deal with Ivory Mask style effects, basically Ivory Mask, or Leyline of Sanctity, or Solitary Confinement. Spells or basically enchantments that basically say you can't be targeting your opponent, which is why we have Reverent Silence. Your opponent gains 6 life if you have a forest, but you destroy all enchantments. Since you don't run enchantments, we really don't care, so that's there to stop those effects. To help battle counter magic, we have our 4 Pyroblast, counter target spell if it is blue, or destroy target permanent if it is blue. Remember the wording, it said if it is blue. You don't actually need to target a blue spell. If you want to up the storm count and empty the Warrens, you can simply just target something else you have, a green or a red spell, and the spell will not actually resolve. Pyroblast will not actually resolve. The spell you originally cast will, but Pyroblast will add 1 more to the storm count. Once again, that's another 2 tokens. But that'll come in against a blue deck, and so will Xantid Swarm. The ability to basically stop your opponent from playing any counter spells the turn you're going to go off, because we use a sorcery and an artifact. We go off on our turn, is a very, very good ability. And then we have Shattering Spree. Shattering Spree is there, obviously, for various troubling artifacts, Phyrexian Revoker, Pithing Needle. I've even seen Damping Matrix in there once in a while. And also Chalice of the Void. You're going to say, what if they put Chalice of the Void at 1? Kills your Shattering Spree. No, it doesn't. You play Shattering Spree, and then you replicate it. The replicate copy of Shattering Spree does not get countered by Chalice of the Void. So you can just replicate it 1 or 2 times. If they have counter magic, 3 or 4 if you need to. And the replicate will get through if Chalice of the Void is at 1. So just once again, simple rules. This is why some people can take this deck and hit 10th place on a tournament, and other people can take it and be dead last, because these little minor simple rules on how to abuse the stack or how to abuse a certain way to up the storm count help you actually win. If you don't believe so, play Dredge and contemplate if you play Wrath of God with 4 Bridge from Belows in your graveyard. Who's going to get the priority on that? If you have the answer, you know what you're doing, and you're probably a good Dredge player. But this is my Goblin Charbelcher deck, and this is my Duff that I drank. So once again, it's a nice combo deck. It wins on turn 1, and can be really annoying, because your opponent doesn't get to play anything before they die in some cases. And, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. I know this is very different from the other videos that are on my YouTube account. But, if you like this, I'll definitely be posting more decks of mine in the future.